Namaskar. Welcome to Viewer Asia Voice of Community. I'm Ashok Vyas. This Sunday, in our special weekly edition of Vision of Asia, we will take you to India, and a very important celebration began at National War Memorial. Glimpses of that celebration followed by our weekly This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. We take you to White House, where President Trump announced important vaccine for COVID. Meet Dr. Indrapal Chhabra, who has already been administered this vaccine related to COVID, and how he felt about it, we will learn in today's show. Witness Christmas tree lighting ceremony 2020 from New Jersey, and listen to Jagjit Singh from Weekly Takes, his analysis about farmers' agitation. Consul General of India commemorated Jewish festival Hanukkah. We'll have a report on that. And all this coming up right after these short messages. Stay with us. We begin with a special report from India. We will see happening at National War Memorial in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who lit a flame to mark Swarnim Vijay Varsh, and all the celebrations related to 1971 war over Pakistan, where Indian forces showed exemplary courage and valor. Many events are planned, but this was the beginning of year-long celebrations to mark victory of India over Pakistan.
महावीर प्रसाद प्रेमी वीर चक्र अवॉर्डी।
इन्हें देख के यूं लगता है कि बर्फबारी हो या गोलीबारी हो या दुश्मन ने की खूब तैयारी हो, हे भारत माँ मैं तेरा सैनिक पुत्र, हर हाल में दुश्मन को लोहे के चने चबवा के आऊंगा, तिरंगा तो मैं लहरा के आऊंगा, तिरंगा तो मैं लहरा के आऊंगा।
क्या बात।
And Ms. Jayashree, I'd like to tell you that these veterans would be handing over the flame to the youngsters, which is a symbol of passing of wisdom and energy to the zeal, and the zeal to the youngsters. The equipment and weapon will continually change and improve. The size of the military will expand as needed, but the unyielding will of the soldier and the dedication of professional military leaders will never change.
रिले रनर्स इस मशाल को लेकर जाएंगे और ये इंडियन आर्मी की गाड़ियों में ये फ्लेम ऑफ ग्लोरी, ये स्वर्णिम विजय मशाल देश के हर उस शहर या गांव में जाएगी जहां 1971 के वीरों के घर हैं।
देश के माथे पर विजय तिलक लगाने के उस गौरव के क्षणों से हर देशवासियों को भारतीय सेना जोड़ने जा रही है।
ये हैं वो गाड़ियां जिनमें स्वर्णिम विजय मशाल देश के चारों कोनों में यहां से जाएगी।
जी जयश्री, यहां से देश के चारों कोनों, चारों दिशाओं की ओर ये जाएंगी। विजय ज्योति यहां से निकलेंगी जो देश के हर कोने को जोड़ते हुए वापस दिल्ली पहुंचेंगी।
स्वर्णिम विजय मशाल देश के शौर्य और पराक्रम का प्रतीक, देश के प्रेम की ज्वाला जो आज हम सभी के सीनों में धधकती हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री विजिटर बुक में डिजिटल हस्ताक्षर करेंगे। हर काम देश के नाम, इस नारे को चरितार्थ करते हुए भारत के प्रधानमंत्री।
मेरा जनून हिंदुस्तान, मेरा करम हिंदुस्तान, मेरी निष्ठा हिंदुस्तान, हर बूंद रक्त मेरे देश के नाम, हर बूंद का बस यही नाम, हिंदुस्तान हिंदुस्तान हिंदुस्तान।
उन्नत, ये तो बस एक शुरुआत है, ये एक आगाज है स्वर्णिम विजय वर्ष के समारोह का। 1971 युद्ध में जीत की 50वीं सालगिरह पूरे एक साल तक मनाई जाएगी। 16 दिसंबर यानी आज से अगले साल 16 दिसंबर 2021 तक कार्यक्रम होंगे।
You're absolutely right, Ms. Jayashree. Today marks the beginning of the 50th year of the famous victory, as this year is being celebrated as the Swarnim Vijay Varsh. Several events, as you mentioned, are planned during the year, commencing from today till 16 December 2021.
आज की ये सुबह अभूतपूर्व है। स्वर्णिम विजय वर्ष समारोह के अंतर्गत एक वेबसाइट भी लॉन्च की जाएगी जिसमें युद्ध और वीरता की दास्तानें होंगी। ये सुबह उन वीर सेनानियों के नाम हैं जिन्होंने हंसते हंसते अपनी जान पर खेलते हुए 1971
Insightful conversation with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh in This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas and I am so happy to be welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh to the special edition of This Week. Doctor, welcome, namaste.
Namaskar.
And while I say I'm so delighted, the reason is when we hear the words coming from experience and insight, that helps us in moving forward towards clarity. And clarity we need on many fronts. But let me go towards vaccine, Dr. Saab, and how do you see India and America in this context of the search as well as offering vaccine to its citizens?
Well, I mean, in USA, as you know, that Pfizer vaccine is already rolled out, and a lot of my colleagues are already got that Pfizer vaccine first dose. So I think it's on the roll, and the second vaccine, Moderna, it will be approved by this coming Friday, 3 days from today, and again that vaccine will be start rolling from next Monday. So I think in USA, quite a few, in first phase, quite a few healthcare workers, long-term nursing home residents, and people, those who are seriously affected with the other comorbidity will be getting this vaccine.
So that brings a sense of hope and kind of feeling that now we are near the end to living a different kind of life. But it's likely to be a long way because by the time everyone gets those, it could be how many months if you anticipate?
I think at least 3 to 4 months or more even, depending upon how, but everyone is not going to get vaccine because people will not take it. So even if 50 to 60% takes it, that's good enough to create some kind of immunity and protect the population.
Now, staying with the reference of vaccine, moving towards India, the data financially is suggesting that to administer vaccine, India would need to shell out money to the tune of $1.4 billion to $1.8 billion and put additional $30 to $60 million for transportation of this vaccine. So how do you see the kind of complexities that we have in India in terms of proceeding to get vaccinated for all the people?
Well, I'm sure in India also, historically, there are so many vaccines were given in the past. So I'm sure government will have kind of a mechanism or a kind of blueprint how to do this vaccination, and they will do it successfully. I'm sure about it. And cost is again, is government will probably bear it. And just like USA, the most of the cost is done by government of the day. So I think I would not worry about that. Only thing is it's little. I mean, people have to wait till their turn comes, and they should get it. And I'm sure I would suggest that they must get it.
Absolutely. And now we'll go to India with another concern, which is visible through multiple news media outlets in the form of thousands of farmers protecting, blocking roads. There is a kind of jam at several places in Delhi. And the conversation or dialogue between government and farmers has failed to reach any conclusion so far. It is over 22 days now. How do you see any potential solution in near future?
I think Prime Minister himself is involved now, and he's trying to educate the farmers and whether about this new deal, which is good for farmers in long run, but still that deal has certain things, particularly in the Punjab and Haryana farmers, they may not agree because they may lose it a little bit initially. So I think ideally what they should do is to implement this new law in the all state except Punjab and Haryana, and then phase it out Punjab and Haryana into the new law in next 2 to 3 years. I think that's the best solution out of this.
I think what you say makes a lot of logical sense, but where we are right now is farmers are saying that nothing less than repealing of the three agricultural reform bills would satisfy them.
Yeah, that's mainly the Punjab and Haryana farmers are saying. Other state farmers are not saying that. I mean, in the reality. So I think they should try to. That's one suggestion that they should try to implement this law, and and in two phases. And if not, then they should try to be flexible and amend it for next few years, and then slowly phase it out. I mean,
So there are 2-3 theories, or rather schools of thought in this regard. Some people feel that the way this agitation has mobilized people who are not farmers, whether they are there for political gains, and pro-Khalistani forces, whether they are India or in America or Canada, etc., they have also become a part of it. So if government reverses its stand, it would show that anybody with this kind of strength demonstration may bring government down. So that is one way that it undermines the democratic authority of the parliamentary approved bills to be implemented. How do you see that? Is that one of the reasons which is preventing this to move forward?
Well, yes and yes, I guess so, because I mean, government has to be firm on the democratically pass the bill, and that's what government is doing it. But I think in the fine print, I think I'm sure government will try to adjust some demand of the farmers, and it will end soon. I mean, this cannot go on forever anyway. So I think it should end, and it will end. And I'm sure there will be win-win situation for both the parties.
So what you are looking at is the positive scenario, and everybody would like that to happen. But I just bring to your attention again, the Supreme Court also proposed that they have a committee which overviews it, etc. So that was also rejected. And I know I'm repeating it, but repeatedly by different leaders who are a part of this 40 organization coalition for this farmers agitation have said that nothing less than repeal. Do you think government should consider that, or what is your opinion if you were talking to Prime Minister Modi?
Well, I think my opinion is this new reform bill is good for farmers in long run. It should be implemented, but as I say, that government should do in the two phases. Mainly, do it for all of the state except Punjab and Haryana in the beginning, and then slowly phase in Punjab and Haryana into the new bill in next 2 to 3 years' time. And probably that will resolve or that will kind of quiet down the farmers' agitation.
Talking about solutions and talking about interference of some of the foreign governments with respect to this agitation, especially Canada, comes to my mind. So in that context, I am happy to bring to your attention that in a meeting between Foreign Minister of India and UK, UK has made its position clear that this is internal matter of India, which is true. And we are also expecting that UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson would be chief guest for this 2021 Republic Day parade. Talk to us about Indo-UK relationship presently.
Well, I think Indo-UK relationship is very good, actually, under the leadership of current Prime Minister of United Kingdom. And I think it's a long history between India and United Kingdom to have a very good, affectionate and very productive relationship with each other. And for both socially, politically and economically. And I'm sure it will be trade between India and UK will be much more in coming years. And since now United Kingdom is out of EU, so they have more freedom to make a trade deal with the different countries in different ways.
Very nice. And before we conclude, I also want to bring to your attention and to the attention of our viewers that some pro-Khalistani elements were protesting in support, so-called support for the Kisan agitation in Washington, D.C. in front of Indian Embassy. And they also misbehaved with the statue of the icon of non-violence and peace, Mahatma Gandhi. Some objectionable flags were also covered on the statue. Your response to this act?
Well, this kind of violation is not acceptable. It must be condoned universally.
Condemned.
And condemned universally, because those who are responsible should be punished, whatever form punishment is allowed. And because this kind of behavior is not acceptable, it is not. It should be kind of condemned, and it should be punished. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think your voice is also joining with many voice of Indian community leaders and important organizations who have condemned it. And indeed, when we refer to Mahatma Gandhi as Rashtrapita, that symbolizes the respect and dignity of India also. As we conclude today's this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, Dr. Saab, your parting message, words.
Well, dear friends, I would suggest this week that vaccines are out. Both the vaccines, one Pfizer and Moderna, will be out this Friday. Both vaccines are very safe, scientifically studied properly, has very effective and effectiveness. They both are equally effective, 95%, and there is not much side effect. So everyone should be encouraged to get this vaccine whenever their time comes to get one. And that's only way to curb this pandemic. And everyone must cooperate in this whole vaccination situation. And please take your vaccine. It's very safe, and it can save your life. So please do that. And again, thanks for joining this week. Goodbye. See you next week. God bless America. God bless India. And God bless Indian American community. Thank you.
While we are very close to a new year and beginning of a new presidency, but one important announcement by President Donald J. Trump, which was made on 12th December, was a good news. Good news in our war against invisible enemy. And here is President Trump from White House telling us all about the joy and the proud moment of delivering vaccine against COVID.
I have really good news. Today, our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months. This is one of the greatest scientific accomplishments in history. It will save millions of lives and soon end the pandemic once and for all. I am thrilled to report that the FDA has authorized the Pfizer vaccine. We have given Pfizer and other companies a great deal of money, hoping this would be the outcome, and it was. On behalf of the American people, I'd like to thank all of the brilliant scientists, technicians, doctors, and workers who made this all possible. Pfizer and Moderna have announced their vaccine is approximately 95% effective, far exceeding expectations. These vaccines are also very safe. American citizens participated in clinical trials that were far larger than normal and had no serious side effects. The dedicated and independent experts at the FDA meticulously studied the results of the trials, and it has now passed the gold standard of safety. Through Operation Warp Speed, my administration provided a total of $14 billion to accelerate vaccine development and to manufacture all of the top candidates in advance. This included a nearly $2 billion investment in Pfizer to produce 100 million doses of their vaccine, with an option to produce 500 million additional doses. And I'm proud to say that we have made sure that this vaccine will be free for all Americans. Through our partnership with FedEx and UPS, we have already begun shipping the vaccine to every state and zip code in the country. The first vaccine will be administered in less than 24 hours. The governors decide where the vaccines will go in their state and who will get them first. We want our senior citizens, healthcare workers, and first responders to be first in line. This will quickly and dramatically reduce deaths and hospitalizations. When the China virus invaded our shores, I promised that we would produce a vaccine in record time before the end of the year. They said it couldn't be done, but with today's announcement, we have now achieved that goal. The United States is the first nation in the world to produce a verifiably safe and effective vaccine. Today's achievement is a reminder of America's unlimited potential when we have the will and the courage to pursue ambitious goals. As I've said from the beginning, a vaccine will vanquish the virus and return life back to normal. The pandemic may have begun in China, but we are ending it right here in America. Operation Warp Speed is the greatest medical manufacturing endeavor in American history. We are deeply grateful to every person who has worked round the clock on this monumental national project to save lives. Thank you all for your tremendous gifts to humanity. God bless you, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. Thank you.
Anything new, especially from the field of medicine, makes us look at it with concern. Will there be some side effects, whether it will suit my system or not? How much it will cost? And all these details we discussed with Dr. Indrapal Chhabra, who was kind enough to join us from the parking lot of hospital. And he himself was vaccinated, as the priority of vaccine is for health workers. He has served many COVID patients, and what did he tell? Let's take a look. So now I am joined by Dr. Indrapal Chhabra ji, who is one of the few among us who has already taken COVID vaccine, and he also has served as past president of Queens County Medical Society, and is primary care physician here in New Hyde Park as well as Massapequa. So we are still not out of the total phase where we are concerned how things are going to shape up. But talk to us about the apprehension that many people might have. How will their body react to this vaccine?
So actually, even I was apprehensive when the first data was coming out. We didn't know it's a new technology. It's how people are going to react. लेकिन धीरे धीरे करके मुझे ये लगा कि it has to be done. The risk of COVID is much higher than whatever side effects this vaccine may give. And then luckily for me, I have a very good network of my friends from back in Malala Medical College in New Delhi, one of my classmates, he got the vaccine last week. UK में पहले से available हो चुका था. So he was one of the first in UK to get it. And I spoke with him. And he's an avid hunter. तो वो जिस दिन वैक्सीन लगाया उससे अगले दिन he went on a hunt party. एंड वो हंटिंग करके अपनी काफी मेहनत मशक्कत करके वापस आया तो कहता है कि अरे तब ध्यान आया कि अरे मुझे तो बॉडी एक्स होने चाहिए थे. So it was like an afterthought for him. So that definitely gave me a nice boost. It's nothing to be afraid of. And today I got this vaccine at 11:30 in the morning, and it's in the evening around after 5 hours, and I'm running around doing my work at the hospital and seeing patients and doing admissions
and talking to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And feather on the cap is talking to Ashok.
No, I'm really happy that sitting in your car, we can at least have our viewers learn more about this COVID vaccine with your help.
Right.
So, it was only on 12th December that President Trump announced this success, which his administration have received within 9 months or so. They delivered. That was his
pick. Exactly.
But now, how will it be available, and is it possible that some people take it, yet others are safe, or everybody should take it? What is the general notion about it?
So, जो आपने सवाल पूछा, this is very pertinent. Well, number one, there are different ways of phases of the vaccination. Hopefully, between today and tomorrow, we will have another arrow in our quiver against COVID by the way of Moderna vaccine. So, Abhi, I was just watching the news to see if Moderna has been approved also or not. The advantage of Moderna over Pfizer is that it does not need to be stored at minus 80 degrees Celsius. So, and we will have another 100 million doses available of another very successful vaccine. In terms of the efficacy, दोनों में फर्क 19-20 का ही है. Moderna is 94.1% effective and Pfizer is 95% effective. That is the only difference. They are both based on the same mitochondrial RNA technology. And something has to be said about the technology also. Basically, mitochondria are small pieces. Mitochondria are small pieces which lie outside of the nucleus of a cell. Basically, so they are not going to enter into your genetic material. They are not going to alter your genetic material. Mitochondria are small particles which are very helpful in producing energy for the body. And they have their own RNA, which will help in producing some protein. So basically, by manipulating that RNA, they are producing spike proteins of the coronavirus, the virus itself, the form which causes COVID. And that spike protein gets presented to the human blood. So अपने जो host body है, जैसे आज मुझे vaccine लगा है, तो between today and tomorrow, my body will start producing antibodies by itself. So it's not to be afraid of. It's nothing to be scared of.
Because of COVID, financially also people are not doing very well at times. And so is this going to be covered by most of the insurance, and how it is playing out?
It is. It's a very expensive drug combination, but the price is right. The price is zero.
That vaccination, that price is right. I think
everything related to COVID is being covered by the government. If you do not have insurance, do not hesitate in getting in touch with somebody who can take care of you. Just a few weeks ago, I had treated a person who actually, maybe later on I'll share some pictures of his condition. The poor man had COVID. He did not have any insurance. So one of his first questions when he contacted me was, "Boss, मेरे पास insurance नहीं है, मेरा क्या होगा?" मैं कहा, "आप चिंता मत करो, आप आ जाओ hospital, you will be taken care of." He was so severely short of breath that he could not even stand. He was standing with his hands outstretched, trying to gasp for breath. The poor man had a tumor in his heart that was operated upon, in addition to COVID. And his cost, including post-op care, including the care at home, is totally free.
Very, very good. I'm really happy, and I think most of our viewers will be happy to hear this. And this is very comforting. And as I thank you for taking your time out Once again, briefly, you want to say something about anybody who might still be thinking that even if the vaccine comes, should I go for it or should not I?
Absolutely, you should take the vaccine if it is made available to you. Please go ahead, get yourself vaccinated. I am begging people who have not taken their flu shots. Still begging them to get the flu shot, and the flu shot efficacy is no more than 75%. ये तो 95% effective है. This is amazing technology. This is amazing drug. This is going to be the salvation of the whole entire world. This has to be done.
Welcome back. You're watching Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community on ITV Gold. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. we bring some glimpses of what is happening in our community through interviews and through coverage of events, which is not very much these days because not many events are happening. Most of the things are happening virtually. And then we bring a special weekly edition of community happenings every Sunday at 11 a.m. where we are meeting. Appreciate your presence. Stay with us. We'll write back after these short messages. Happy holidays. Christmas is around the corner. A day that is celebrated with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of lights. This year, on 25th December, there is another important festival rooted in Indian culture would be observed, and that is Gita Jayanti. 25th December is also birthday of former Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. But beginning with Christmas celebration with Christmas tree lighting ceremony 2020 to welcome holiday season at Edison Glen Terrace, New Jersey. God bless you. Yes. Happy
Thank you to Asia. Thank you to Gold. Good. Hi, this is Ganesh. I live here in Edison Glen. It has been my home, my heart for the past 6 years. I am one of the board members here. These are other board members standing here. It's a privilege to be part of this board. We have our property management group here as well, you know, Danny and Jackie. So those are the people who manage the day-to-day operations. On the other side, today we have a very special guest, Lieutenant Dudash. We are so privileged, so honored to be having you in this August occasion. You know, we have invited you, you have accepted us, you know, and then you have graced us. It's really, we are very thankful for your, you know, coming all the way for us. We also have the councilman Ajay Patel here, and he's going to join us soon. And yeah, that's pretty much so. We all happy holidays for everyone.
Good evening. Again, I'm Bob Dudash. I'm a lieutenant with the Edison Police Department, and I'm a member of Edison PBA Local Number 75, which is the union which represents Edison police officers. And I'm very pleased to be here tonight to accept a donation of some wonderful toys for the Toys for Tots initiative. The Edison PBA has been a strong supporter of Toys for Tots for many years, as well as the U.S. Marine Reserves. And Edison Glen has come through on several years now in a wonderful donation of toys. So I thank them from the bottom of my heart for the generosity.
Hi everyone, this is Raj. I'm a board member here, living here for many years. And first I want to say happy holidays, happy Christmas, and happy New Year. I mean, this is great. You know, in the time of pandemic, when like you cannot go to other places to see the lights, you know, you cannot take your kids. This is what this board has done. This is amazing. You look the lights here, the hard work they have done for the kids. So I just want to say that enjoy this and enjoy at your home. And once again, happy holidays. And this is Raj once again.
Hi, my name is Manish Parikh. I live in Edison for 25 years and in Edison Glen for past 20 years. And this is the time that we see the pandemic, and my president Harpreet Singh had an idea to take care of the children, make them happy by the Christmas tree. And then all is well now, and happy holidays. See you better time.
Hi, this is Padma Palela. I am living in Edison Glen Terrace. I'm one of the board members, and you know, it's nice talking on the TV to everybody out there. We've been living here for a very long time, and this is the first time we have taken this initiative to light up this area and give the joy of holidays to all the kids and all the residents in this area. As you could see that this whole pool area has been lighted up, so all the people living in this can come out on the balconies, enjoy the lights, and really enjoy the spirit of the holidays. And also I would like to thank our Mr. Councilman Ajay Patil and Richard Brushner to come here and help us initiate this initiative, as well as I would also like to thank all the volunteers that have come out here to make this a very successful event. Again, this is a teamwork. All the 5 board members have come together. The initiative have been started by Harpreet, our Mr. President. He has a great ideas, and he, whenever he takes up something, he fulfills it to the extent. And again, this is a teamwork. I'm wishing all of you a very holiday and very happy holidays, and enjoy your days. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone. We are here to celebrate the spirit, the life of lights. Because of the pandemic, situation is not that good. But this whole effort done by our team, our friends, so that the people can come here, enjoy the own community, the whole community. They don't need to go outside now. So that's a small effort done by our team. Congratulations to everyone. Those who have worked really hard. And enjoy. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy holidays, guys. Stay safe. Enjoy with your family. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Desh Gupta. I am one of the residents here. Last 10 years I am living in Edison Glen. I love this community and this is my home. This year, this is the first time where we have lightened our community and show the energy and entho. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Stay safe. Happy New Year.
Thank you ITV Gold for coming here and covering this event. This is the first Christmas tree lighting event for Edison Glen Terrace. I would like to congratulate the management and all the board members who have taken an interest in celebrating this festive season. You can see all around a wonderful lighting. I think I haven't seen this in many places, but it's very, very interesting during this pandemic time. People have chosen some fun part. They are going around and doing the good festive activities. So I'm very delighted and I'm very happy with that. With that, I can say the viewers of ITV Gold wish you all a very happy holidays, and hopefully the next year will be wide open so we can see each other again. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you Edison Glen for inviting us out here for the tree lighting today. They have a lot of wonderful displays out here. It was actually, the way I found it was that it was lit up enough that as I was driving through, I seen the lights on all the displays here. And wishing everybody out there a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Thank you. And this is Councilman Brescher.
I'm so excited to say this. This event, actually, we are returning something to the community. And this initiative taken by our friends, Edison Police Department, and this is for Toy for Tots. And this is a small token. You can look how much stuff we collected from here. And that is the spirit, that's the things we want to be alive. Enjoy your time. Thank you so much.
Everything you're doing here in Edison, Mr. Dudash.
Appreciate it, Councilman.
And we appreciate all the gifts that Edison Glen here brought to us all here today. So I thank everybody from the community here. It's beautiful, and I hope you all have a happy holiday and a happy new year. Thank you.
Again, I'm Bob Dudash. I'm a lieutenant with the Edison Police Department and a member of Edison PBA Local 75. And I certainly want to thank again Edison Glen for their generosity for the Toys for Tots drive this holiday season. These toys are going to go to a lot of needy children in our area. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you again to Edison Glen.
Indian government passed 3 bills, agricultural reform related bills, were aimed at helping farmers grow their income. And the idea was it would help them grow their income and make it double in just 2 years. So the middleman was not to play an important role and take away most of the profit margins. But there has been some confusion with respect to minimum support price or the presence of mandis, and that led to agitation of farmers. Many meetings have taken place, yet farmers who have come mostly from Punjab, some parts of Haryana, are supported by many parties, many forces, and there is a a kind of a stagnation in terms of the movement of dialogue. Farmers are not willing to settle for anything less than repealing of all these 3 bills. Government offered them some proposals, but there has been no headway so far. Analyzing this issue in Weekly Takes, here is Jagjit Singh.
कृषि क्षेत्र में लाए गए 3 सुधारवादी कानूनों के विरोध में किसान सड़कों पर आंदोलन कर रहे हैं। कई दौर की वार्ता के बाद भी अभी तक सहमति नहीं बन पाई है। किसानों को आशंका है कि इन सुधारों के बहाने सरकार एमएसपी, न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य पर फसलों की सरकारी खरीद और वर्तमान मंडी व्यवस्था से पल्ला झाड़कर कृषि बाजार का निजीकरण करना चाहती है। सरकार का कहना है कि इन 3 सुधारवादी कानूनों से कृषि उपज की बिक्री हेतु एक नई वैकल्पिक व्यवस्था तैयार होगी जो वर्तमान मंडी एवं एमएसपी व्यवस्था के साथ चलती रहेगी। इससे फसलों के भंडारण, विपणन, प्रसंस्करण, निर्यात आदि क्षेत्रों में निवेश बढ़ेगा और साथ ही किसानों की आमदनी भी बढ़ेगी। नाउ लेट अस डिग अ लिटिल डीपर. लेट अस लुक एट सम फैक्ट्स. Irrigated land, 99% in Punjab as compared to 50% in India, 20% in Maharashtra. Average land holding, 3.62 hectares in Punjab as compared to 1.08 hectares in India, 0.8 hectares in Bihar. Fertilizer consumption, 212 kilogram per hectare in Punjab as compared to 135 kilogram per hectare in India. Farm families, 1.09 million in Punjab, 146.45 million in India. Power subsidy to Punjab farmers, rupees 8,275 crores in 2019-20. Fertilizer subsidy to Punjab farmers, rupees 13,275 crores in 2019-20. Average income of Punjab farmer about 2.5 times that of the rest of farmers in India. So, then why are Punjab farmers rebelling and agitating? There are reasons for it. 1. Because the sons and daughters of the Punjab farmer have refused to work on the land for almost 2 decades. 2. Because today the land in Punjab is worked not by the Punjab farmer but by hired laborers from Bihar and eastern UP. 3. Because India is transforming rapidly into a land where farming and farmers are irrelevant unless systemic changes are not ushered in. सोचें कि अगर किसी परिवार की माली हालत अच्छी न हो तो क्या वो परिवार हाथ पर हाथ रखकर बैठा रहेगा, या तो वो परिवार अपने खर्चे में कटौती करेगा या कमाई का कोई नया रास्ता ढूंढेगा। ठीक उसी तरह ये 3 बिल किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ाने के लिए ही लाए गए हैं, जो पूरे भारत के किसानों की सोच रखता है। कहने के लिए तो मैं भी किसान हूं, सुप्रिया सूले और चिदंबरम भी किसान हैं। ठीक इसी तरह जो किसान आंदोलन कर रहे हैं वो भी किसान हैं, पर उन्होंने क्या कभी अपने खेतों में काम किया है? वो तो उड़ता पंजाब के किसान हैं। उनका खुद का कहना है कि वे बिहार से सस्ते दामों पर अनाज लाते हैं और पंजाब में महंगे दामों पर मंडियों में बेचते हैं। यानी बिहार का नुकसान, पंजाब के किसानों का फायदा। मैं बिहार से हूं और मेरे परिवार की खेतीहर जमीन मधुबनी जिले में है। हर साल हम अपने आम के फसल को कंट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग पर बेचते हैं, तो क्या हमारी जमीन या हमारे पेड़ वो कंट्रैक्टर ले लेते हैं? नियमानुसार साल भर की फसल उनकी होती है और जमीन और पेड़ पर मालिकाना हक हमारा बरकरार रहता है। यही नियम है। पता नहीं पंजाब के किसानों को किस बात की आपत्ति है, या किस चीज का डर है, या किसने उन्हें उल्टा समझा दिया है। यह सोचने की बात है। और अगर बड़ी कंपनियों का ऐसा ही डर है तो मुख्यमंत्री कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह मुकेश अंबानी को बुलाकर अपने ऑफिस में मीटिंग क्यों करते हैं? यह वीडियो आपसे साझा कर रहा हूं, इसे देखें और खुद दोहरे बोल को समझें। और फिर किसान आंदोलन में टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग और अलगाववादियों के पोस्टर क्यों? उनका किसान आंदोलन से क्या लेना, और इससे क्या इमेज पूरे भारत में जा रहा है? मूलतः इमेज पोर्ट्रेयल एक एंटी इंडिया स्टांस दिखने लग रहा है, जिससे आंदोलन के इमेज को ठेस पहुंची है। आंदोलन के लीडर्स को इस बारे में सोचना होगा, क्या उनके आंदोलन को हाईजैक किया जा रहा है? In April 2019, the Bharatiya Kisan Union came up with a Kisan Manifesto, demanding that the laws that were strangulating farming in India be dispensed with. This Kisan Manifesto was the culmination of many decades of thought on what had held back farming. The manifesto talked on similar lines as the 3 bills promulgated. यही नहीं, कांग्रेस पार्टी के 2019 के चुनाव घोषणा पत्र में भी यही बातें लिखी हैं। फिर किस बात का विरोध? यह विधेयक का विरोध नहीं है, सिर्फ मोदी का विरोध है। और भारत की जनता इस बात को समझ रही है, जिसका प्रमाण राजस्थान के म्युनिसिपल चुनावों के नतीजों से साफ जाहिर है। But is there a solution? The Modi government needs to move forward, assuage the fears of farmers, marginalize the nakli, khandani leadership of the farmers movement, which is using half-truths and untruths only to boost farmers' fears. All concerned must sit together and chart out a median approach for the betterment of farmers from all over the country.
While we are ready to usher in New Year, moving towards 1st January 2021, and many people are looking at it with a sigh of relief because 2020 has been quite a challenging year for most of us. And Consulate General of India also brought a sense of happiness with the commemorating Jewish festival Hanukkah at this important premises of the Indian Consulate. Take a look.
While this consulate and the AJC in collaboration has been celebrating Hanukkah here in New York for the last several years, but let me tell you, we have been celebrating Hanukkah in India for several centuries and millennia. In the villages of Konkan, in the small towns of Kerala and Cochin, and several other parts of India where we had Jewish community living for centuries. I remember of Mahatma Gandhi. He lived in South Africa for long years. Among his close associates, he had people from Jewish heritage. To name a few, Herman Kallenbach, his very dear friend, Sonia Schlesien, who was his secretary, and Henry Pollack. I'm sure he must have enjoyed Hanukkah as much as we are enjoying Hanukkah today.
Working and supporting each other, working with each other, of course, and supporting each other. Especially today, we can bring much more light to the world. And such a gathering of the communities, of the Jewish community, together with the Indian American community, as well as with the 2 consulates to celebrate our shared values, our moral commitment to each other, our commitment to fight together, to fight darkness and hate, and to bring light and hope to our communities. I think that there is no more noble cause.
Religious freedom and expression are central to our democracy, and I will continue to fight for these values at home and abroad. Thank you all for your commitment to this work. Our success would be impossible without this partnership. I promise to always be a partner to those who join virtually and to work with you, whether it be through my seat as a member of Congress or my seat on the Appropriations Committee or here in New York City. I look forward to continue working with all of you. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me, and please continue the important work that you are already doing. I wish everyone a warm rest of their evening and hope you and your families stay safe and healthy.
My Indian immigrant father and my Jewish American mother ran an Irish pub in Los Angeles. So for childhood me, a gathering like this is kind of beyond my wildest dreams in terms of having just the ability to celebrate the fullness of who I am and not have to explain, all the complexities. So I just appreciate so much you having this celebration, you having me, and you celebrating and strengthening the bond between the United States, Israel, and India.
I wanted to express today how similar our two cultures are. It always strikes me whenever Diwali comes around how very similar it is to Hanukkah. First of all, with the lighting of candles, we light diyas in India, and as we light the diya lamps in Hanukkah, the menorah is lit. It's festival of lights all across the world. But the story is also very strikingly similar. Diwali celebrates a victory of Ram over the demon king. And Diwali is a celebration of the victory of good over evil, light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance. Similarly, Hanukkah, the Maccabees are victorious over the Syrian army, and it's a celebration of that.
This has been such a strange, difficult year for all of us. And with their defeat of military might against all odds, the Maccabees were certainly no strangers to overcoming the impossible. Also, oil sufficient for just one night lasted 8 nights. So when we're thinking about how light has conquered darkness in 2020, when it may not seem that obvious, you consider the silver linings of the pandemic. When the elderly and the immunocompromised in our communities couldn't step outside their homes early on in the pandemic, so many of you dropped off groceries to your neighbors, checked on those without loved ones at home to check on them. For the vaccine that's on its way to our respective home states right now, may it be effective and accessible to all global citizens rapidly, but surely we can all appreciate our healthcare heroes and science and how the world came together in researching and developing that vaccine.
Can we start with the lighting of the lamps? And are you just unmute yourself? And also, I should mention that Rabbi Romil is twice. He's the bronze medalist in badminton at the Maccabea Games, and he led our Indian Jewish delegations in 85, 89, and 93. So we will start. While you're there with us, yourself. Okay, so you see the traditional Indian Jewish Hanukkah here, the oil lamp with the glass that is.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, we know is for this celebration. And we start with 2 blessings and then the regular blessings in Hebrew. Of course, we're going to do the traditional Indian way. So we're going to start just now. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'smata v'sivanu le'adlik ner Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia, but before that, let me remind you, we have a very vibrant Facebook page. Be our friends there and subscribe to ITV Gold's YouTube channel. Keep writing to us, events@itvgold.com. Stay with us. Have a wonderful rest of this weekend. Stay safe. Take care. This is Ashok Vyas.